Good. I'm the project manager of this project that we call Bäst in Swedish, but I think it's good that we have an English translation. It means around residues to best use. And we are based in Sweden, and we've had this project for some time now. And we want to drive progress towards a climate-smart, sustainable, and circular society by developing solutions to minimize the environmental and climate impact of society's organic residues, while simultaneously creating sought-after beneficial products and the carbon storage. The goal is a greener and healthier world. And we're doing that by collaborating with a lot of partners, mainly in Sweden, but actually 2 German ones as well. So Bäst is a collaborative project aiming to develop more or less the whole biochar sector in Sweden. So it's not a there are research parts within it, but it's not a research project per se. But we want to collaborate to bring this whole sector forward in Sweden. And we managed to get funding from the Swedish innovation agency Vinnova to do this. So what we are doing is that it's residues to best use. So we're looking at different residues from the society, and we have focused on four different residues that are very common: sewage sludge, park and garden waste, agricultural chaff, that is from seed production, leftovers, and algae, that is cast on the beach. They are very common problems for many cities, and we are dealing with pyrolysis as a treatment method for these residues. But then, on the other hand, we also want to use biochar for many different applications in society. And we have primarily been focusing on urban methods, urban usage of biochar. But lately, we have also had a few trials in agricultural land. And as you know, by biochar, we also get a carbon sink that is a product in itself. And we have also one big part of our project is the removal of cadmium. Since cadmium is the most common reason that sewage sludge cannot be spread on farmlands, at least in Sweden. If we can remove cadmium, then we can utilize this organic matter in a way. And we have shown that it's possible to do that using pyrolysis as a method, but you need to increase the temperature. And what happens then? You get effects on the biochar. So we were actually 2 groups from the beginning, one looking at treatment methods and one looking at usage of biochar. And we met and we formed this product, but that was actually quite many years ago now. So we have become one group working together, developing this. And you can see it also as a flow. We have this organic matter to the left. We have different kind of pre-treatments, and it has been shown that pre-treatment of material is the difficult part. Pyrolysis is the easy part of this. We tested continuous pyrolysis and batch pyrolysis, and we tested different process parameters. And then we get a biochar that has different properties, and then we can use it for different usages. We're testing many different ways, many different applications in the city. And of course, the carbon sink we must deal with and track it and to be able to sell it as a separate product. And this gives us, we have produced a lot of different things in the project during these years, and I will go into a few of them shortly. But first, I thought it might be interesting for you to know the project facts. And we actually started in May 2017 for the first step. We were only 11 partners by then, and with only a small grant. So with including the writing of the application, we actually started in 2016. So we've been working on this for many years. And then we got funding for a second step, also from Vinnova, and a third step. And this third step ended in November last year. So actually, we have been working together for many years developing this, but now it's finished. So we do have a lot of results that are published on our website. Unfortunately, not all of it is in English. All of it is in Swedish, but some of it in English. And a starting point for where we started work was the Stockholm model for using biochar in urban plantation, and especially in tree planting. And we have redefined this and fine-tuned this model, and we are now using it for rain gardens, and it has been further developed using these blue-green-gray systems for multi-purpose usage of urban space. You can drive on it. You can have water management. You can also have a green environment. So blue-green-gray system, which we have tested and further developed. And we have some partners that have made green roofs and put biochar into it to lower the carbon footprint, and also to increase the water retention. And we have also produced 2 handbooks, one handbook for users, which is now also available in English, and the latest one is a handbook for producers, so far only in Swedish, but hopefully soon in English. And we have participated to make a Swedish certification of the EPC. We have an appendix because we have a few regulations that didn't fit with the previous, with the original EPC certification. We have also made an addition to the technical guidance book, AMA. It is how to make construction work, more or less. And now biochar is added into that, which makes it possible to procure it in a safe way for the buyers. So we have done many different things, and not only research, but a lot of things to develop this as a sector and moving forward. Yes, and the general development in Sweden, I don't think I have time for that. So I think I need to hand over to my colleague, Anne-Marie.
Yes, thank you, Marcus. I will just share. Yes, I have been, sorry. I have also been working together with Marcus, so we have kind of managed this project in cooperation, or I don't know. I have been very involved anyway. I don't know what to call it, Marcus. But yes, and I have been, I'm working as an associate professor at the Linnaeus University, and I will show you some of the results from the project. So Marcus told you about these BGG systems, blue, green, gray systems for stormwater reduction or retention. This is a system where you take stormwater, in this case from the walk and bike path and lead it into the planting bed. And then the water is drained through this system. And here you have rocks. If you have stones or particles of the same size, that creates voids in between the stones where water can be stored. So this is for, and then you can have a retention of the water. So you reduce the pressure on the drainage systems down.
Anne-Marie,
Yes.
do you have the right slide on? Because I see slide number 3 now.
You see number 3. This is number. Do you see?
Yeah, now it's correct. Yes.
Sorry. Okay, now you see it.
Yeah, not in presentation mode, but I see the right slide.
Not in presentation mode.
You might have 2 screens, I guess. Now? Perfect. Yes.
Okay. So yeah. Okay, so this is a cut through cross section of these constructions. You let the water from the path be led into these systems and from the roads, and then it could be retained here in these systems. We made experiments where we flushed water. So we have tanks of water that we placed on the path here, and then the water was flushed down into the system. And then we measured nutrient leaching, because that has been an issue, at least in Sweden, that these systems might leach phosphorus and nitrogen. And then we collected water in a stormwater well that was connected to this, and looked at the nutrient levels in these. And we could see that we had a leaching initially, but that was reduced and was after 6 months or something. And you had a stormwater that had nutrient levels that were more general for any stormwater in urban areas. So we also saw that phosphorus leaches with particles, as you could expect, but you had random occasions with high leaching, for example, of ammonium, and that could be due to a lot of incidents that happen in cities. So this was wood biochar in these systems. We also tested if we had more leaching, if we had biochar in this section, and if we could reduce the leaching with a barrier of sand that the water had to flush through in the bottom of these pits. And we couldn't see any effect of that. To complement this, we tested these 4 different types of biochars that we produced within the system. We tested how available or how prone to leaching the phosphorus was from these 4 biochars. And we could see that from the bioagro pellets, that is seed residues, we could see quite a lot of phosphorus, available phosphorus or phosphorus leaching. This was a column experiment. And the others have very low levels of phosphorus. This is a logarithmic scale. You can see the actual comparison over here. And unfortunately, we didn't get any phosphorus from the sewage sludge, which is yeah, we were hoping that the phosphorus could be recirculated through pyrolysis of sewage sludge, but in this case, it didn't seem to be the case. We also tested leaching in an agricultural field. This is a huge agricultural experiment where we dug ditches, 100-meter long ditches, and we mixed biochar with the soil in these ditches and then put it back on top of the drainage pipes. And those are the orange and bluish boxes are from these ditches. And then we have the control. That's the blue here and the yellow there. So these are from 2022, and these are from 2023. And we measured, again, collected water from these drainage pipes from the control, where we have biochar in ditches, and then we also added biochar in the topsoil to see if we had any effect on the leaching. And we could see that we reduced the leaching of both the nitrogen and phosphorus, at least the first year with phosphorus. We didn't see any effects on the growth of the plants, but this is a very clayey soil, so we didn't expect perhaps a growth increase from these treatments. We also tested different types of biochar in pots and grow 3 different types of trees on these. So we have control, we have hardwood, mainly beech, softwood, that's mainly spruce, these BAP bioagro pellets from seaweeds, park and garden waste, seed waste, sorry, and then we have seaweed. And we could see that the tree plants reacted differently to these different biochars, and they grew to a different level. And this is basal diameter increase. So we measured the diameter of the plants at the base of the shoots. And then we also measured height, but we between the 2 different years. We can also see that we had differences in the trees and also differences between the different biochars. We also have continued to follow a growth experiment with trees in an urban park. This is the one. So we could see that the trees growing in this park, it was established in 2014, and it has been followed since then. And the trees where you have biochar added to the soil grow better than the ones where you have a control. This is for one of the tree species. It's Quercus petrea. It's an oak species. And there are also 4 other 3 other species, and some of them react similar. One didn't show any difference. Yes. We also tested sludge biochar and seed residue biochar in growing 3 different crops in pots in the greenhouse for 9 weeks. And again, the plants reacted differently to this. And we had, well, the seed residues increased the growth of the maize, but we didn't get any clear effects on the other plants. But we also looked at phosphorus uptake, and then we could see again that the seed residues, the bioagro pellets, had available phosphorus in the biochar that could be taken up by the plants. But the sludge even reduced the amount of phosphorus in the plants, perhaps because it bound the phosphorus in the soil or some other mechanisms. Yes, that was very quickly. Thank you from us.
Thank you very much, Marcus and Anne-Marie, for your presentation. Now the floor is open to questions. If you have any, write them into the chat, please. My first question would be for the city of Lund, more or less. So now you tested quite a lot of things. Which ones do you think will be taken into normal practice, or which sector is the most advantageous?
I think the rain garden part is very suitable for us. We want to have more green in the cities, in the streets, and we get more storm water, so we need to adapt to a changing climate. So I think that is a part that is really interesting. We produce our own compost, so we have our own park and garden waste. So it's actually been tested here. I think we can utilize that and recycle, produce biochar from this and recycle the biochar within the city, and then use the carbon sink internally. That is also, we're digging deeper into this now at the moment and see how we can do this. Yeah.
Alexandra was asking, I think, to Anne-Marie regarding the leaching tests.
Yes.
Which method did you use, and did you look into the ratio between the amount of phosphorus present in the materials versus the leached amount?
We had columns, so there were how much? We did so many experiments in this during these years. I think it was 300 grams of biochar in a column, and then it was a continuous flow in these columns. And we haven't calculated the ratio yet, but we will for sure.
I guess
so hoping to publish this, of course.
I guess you have mountains of data there.
Yes, yes, I have. And the biochar was not charged, not in any of these experiments, because that was one of the things that we wanted to look at. The retention of nitrogen in the biochar, especially for the leaching experiment. It's very interesting, but also for the nutrient availability and the effect on the growth. So Well, yeah, in the greenhouse we fertilized the plants after we added biochar.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Otherwise,
Yeah, minus phosphorus, because that was what we wanted to look at.
Alexandra had a follow-up question. Did you perform cultivation tests with sludge biochar?
Yeah, from the greenhouse experiment we did, and we couldn't see that the well, we
Yeah,
have
also
sorry.
Also with Helene.
Yes, we also have an experiment in the field with sludge biochar, but it hasn't shown any result yet. It's just 2 years or something. This will be the second season for that. So, but in the greenhouse, we couldn't see only small positive effects of the sludge biochar for one of the plants. Now I have to check again. Yes, so for the maize, we got a small, slight growth increase when we added 5% volume percent of biochars, sludge biochar, but not if we increase the amount, we didn't see any effect of it. And for the other plants, we didn't see any effect.
And maybe as a final question before we go to the second presentation, what's the future outlook for this? I mean, not for this project, but for are there any plans to follow up on this, or?
Yes, there's already established innovation cluster for biochar, but it's a different project manager there, not me, another one. But
Okay.
we're all participating there, so there will be a future for this work.
Okay, that's good. So Sweden still goes ahead with large-scale biochar tests before the other
Yes.
countries do.